This here's the Bouse Guide to Razor. You're welcome. So, you want to play Razor like a Bouse? Well, my friend, you've come to the right place. However, first of all, you better make sure you know what you're getting yourself into when you pick Razor. This hero renders enemies useless with his damage drain, hits harder than a political ad campaign, and moves faster than a magnetic train. Now, if you still think you can handle that, keep watching. Otherwise, just go play Ricky.
Before we begin, as with every hero, there are many different ways to build Razor depending on the situation, and being able to adapt to your particular game is crucial to high-level play.
However, this build I'm about to show you right now is the best and the only true way to play Razor like a Bouse. Let's go.
Starting out, you want to get 1 set of tangos, 1 health pot, 2 ironwood branches, and 2 slippers of agility. These items will help you increase your damage for the crucial last hits on creeps. Now, Razor works well in any lane, so you get to head off to any lane you want. Or of course, whatever lane is best for your team, but just keep in mind that you need to farm early game, so you're going to be going for all the last hits. Alright, so on to early game skills. You want to put your first point into Plasma Field because you want to max that out first. Get Unstable Current at level 2 and Static Link at level 4, while putting points into Plasma Field whenever possible, in order to max it out by level 7. Of course, get your ultimate at level 6. So Plasma Field is your primary nuke and does amazing damage early on if used correctly. It has no casting delay, meaning you can cast it while moving without interruption, and the farther an enemy is away from you, the more damage it does. Therefore, this skill is one of the best skills in the game for chasing down enemies. Now, your second skill, Static Link, steals your target's attack damage and gives it to you. It drains them as long as you are within a certain range of your target.
So, Bouse! Razor's like somebody who steals your bag of candy and then beats your ass with it. Ouch!
This skill, Static Link, is what makes you hit like a truck throughout the entire game. Now, your third skill, Unstable Current, does 2 things. 1, it increases your movement speed, and 2, it makes it so whenever an enemy casts a targeted spell on you, they get damaged and slowed. This skill helps boost Razor's survivability, as well as his potential to becoming the greatest chaser in the game with the bonus speed and the slow on any enemy casting a spell on him. Finally, your ultimate is the Salt in the Wounds that supplements your skill set. It summons a cloud right above you that lightning strikes random targets around you and prioritizes those with lowest HP. Each strike does damage as well as lower their armor. Alright, on to early game items. You want to aim for Phase Boots first. This item will make you extremely fast and give you a lot of maneuverability, allowing you to chase down enemies as well as significantly increasing your damage in the early game.
Plus, Phase Boots lets you move through units. You'll never be blocked by a stupid creep again. Ghost Bouse!
Next, you're going to be working on survivability, as that is one of your biggest weaknesses early on. Your next item should be Poor Man's Shield, which makes use of your 2 slippers of agilities and lets you block a decent amount of damage. Then followed by Vanguard. The block chance from these 2 items do stack, however in a complex way that I won't get into here. If you want to read up on the details, just do a Google search. What you need to know is that you need to get your Vanguard after you get your Poor Man's Shield, so the damage block stacking mechanic works in your favor. With your Vanguard, you're going to be able to survive a lot longer in team fights, which is crucial for Razor because the longer you're alive and running around, the more damage you can drain and the more damage you can dish out. Alright, now on to early game gameplay. Make sure to be aggressive in your lane. Use a hit and run tactic to harass your opponents all while last hitting the creeps. Your attack animation is extremely fast. Therefore, you're going to have an easier time last hitting compared to most ranged heroes. And last hitting is very important because your items don't cost too much and are easy to build, which means you can get them extremely fast and overwhelm your enemies if you have good farm. You can also take advantage of most players' tendencies to play defensively early on. What this means is that oftentimes when you attack them, your opponents will instinctively retreat. Now, if this happens, you should take that opportunity to run towards them and get another attack or 2 off before backing off. This harassment tactic works well with Razor because he's extremely fast and you're going to be able to get a lot of extra damage on your opponents if you do this correctly. Now, your Plasma Field at this point of the game is one of the best chasing and finishing nukes because it does more damage the farther an enemy is away from you. Now, when you engage your enemy in the early game, you want to chase after them with your speed and orb walk. If you don't know what orb walking is, just basically it's attacking and then you move during the cooldown between your attacks, and then you attack again, you move, attack basically. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you can do it correctly, you can get their HP extremely low just by chasing after them and orb walking. Now, once they're out of your attack range, throw down your plasma field as you continue to run towards them. They'll either be dead or almost dead, and that's all there is to it. Just make sure to practice orb walking if you're not that comfortable with it, because not only does Razor use orb walking, pretty much every single hero benefits greatly if you orb walk. Once you hit level 7, you are at your first peak. Your nuke is now maxed and you have phase boots, so it's time to show everybody who's the boss in this game. At this point, you can control the level of aggression in the game, meaning you can crank it up by leading ganks, going after isolated enemies, and giving them a taste of the whoop-ass you're about to serve. Tastes like Bouse! Now, the reason why Razor is so good is because all of his skills synergizes perfectly. Your third skill makes you move insanely fast, which lets you maneuver the battlefield so you can keep attacking, chasing, or draining your target. Your ultimate automatically chops down the armor of enemies around you while you are chasing and tacks on extra damage to your target. And if they happen to run out of your attack range, you throw out your plasma field and reap the bounty. Because you just served up a steaming hot fresh plate of whoop-ass, Bouse style! Alright, now on to mid-game skills. After you max out your plasma field, work on maxing out Unstable Current next, and then Static Link last. Unstable Current will make you extremely fast as well as cripple enemies trying to cast spells on you. Static Link level 1 works fine until the later parts of the mid-game when team fights start to break out more often and when you can use Static Link to cripple the enemy carry in a matter of seconds, as well as insanely boosting your own attack damage. Of course, get your ultimate at levels 11 and 16. Moving on, in terms of mid-game items, your first big purchase should be S&Y, Sang and Yasha. This item is Razor's bread and butter. It gives you more movement speed, damage, HP, and an effect to your attack that slows anything you hit, making Razor even better at chasing down fleeting enemies. It's everything that Razor needs packed into an easy to build item. Afterwards, you should aim to get a Black King bar, because you are one of the main targets for your opponents, and this item gives you good damage, HP, and immunity to magic damage, and is a great item for Razor because he needs to be able to stay in the fight as long as possible to drain enemies and show him who's the boss! Alright, during mid-game, you should either be farming or killing. You are so fast that during any downtime in the mid-game, you can run from lane to lane, and then to the jungle to start farming and leveling. Remember, you are a tank and a carry and an amazing ganker / chaser. Now take advantage of this by making sure you are in every single team fight that breaks out, especially once you have your S&Y. Now during the mid-game, enter team fights like a man, because your drain will turn you from Bouse into Super Saiyan Bouse in just a matter of seconds. Simply activate your ultimate and start draining their carry or some other poor hero as soon as you enter the fight. And go Goku Bouse on their asses! During mid-game ganks, employ the same general strategy as early game. Chase down your target with your speed and orb walk, aka attacking and then moving during the cooldown between attacks and attacking, moving, and save your nuke until your target runs out of your attack range, and doing this will maximize the amount of damage you do. Alright, now on to the late game. In terms of late game items, Butterfly is always a solid choice. It gives you a ton of attack speed, damage, and evasion, which makes you much stronger and harder to kill. And another great item for Razor is Heart of Tarrasque. This item is for if you want to be a mega tank. You just have to make sure you get a good drain off during team fights so you can do a lot of damage still. In terms of gameplay, late game, you are an anti-carry and a tank. During fights, you can suck the damage right out of any hero and then use it against them, which is why survivability is so important on Razor. You can reduce any carry, no matter how farmed, into uselessness as long as you have a good drain. And then you can hit them for 300 or 400 damage a pop with their own attack damage. Your ultimate will also lower the armor of heroes around you just as a cherry on top, and your items should make you extremely fast and tanky, being able to stay in fights and maneuver around everybody in order to maintain your drain on your target as long as possible. It's all about the drain late game because it can make the enemy carry and all of their farmed up attack damage work for you. Enemy carry? Meet employment! So bouse! Alright, now that's it for this Bouse Guide to Razor. What are you still doing here? Hurry up and go pick Razor before somebody else does and employs what other hero you have to end up playing. And on a real note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it both helpful and entertaining. Also, check out these real testimonials from real internet people from the last boss guide to Leshrac. I also made some pretty neat boss profile icons for Dota 2, which I'll link to below, so you can show the world how much of a bouse you are and identify other bouses so interns know when to GG before the game starts. And as always, if you like this and want to see more, show some love by liking, commenting, maybe sharing your own success or failure stories with the guide, and of course, subscribing.